Hi, fourth graders. This is Miss Avila here, and I'm excited because today you're going to begin a project that is going to be pretty much a month-long project for you. So let me explain what you're going to need. Today you will need this piece of construction paper that you picked up from the school. You will also need a pencil that has a good eraser. And finally, you will need a nice flat surface to work on, like a desk or a table, or even a hard surface floor. Pause the video to get these supplies, and once you have them, come on back. So over the course of the next month, you are going to be creating a map of Washington State, which is the state that we live in case you missed it. Each week, we're going to add something new to the map. This week, you're just going to be creating the outline of Washington State, and we'll be labeling its boundaries. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing you want to do is fold your paper in half, hamburger style. Crease it well, then unfold it and flatten it out. Now you're going to fold your paper in half, hot dog style. Awesome. So now take your pencil and you're going to carefully and super lightly, so that the pencil is barely touching the paper, trace the creases that you just made. Okay, great. Now for the rest of the activity, you will continue using your pencil. I'm going to start using a marker so that you can see my lines more clearly. So take your paper and fold it in half again so that you're on the back side. And on the back side, we're going to write the title of the map, your name, and the key. So the title of this map, it's a map of Washington State. Be sure that you've capitalized the first letter of every word in the title except for the word of. Underneath, write by and your name. Underneath that, write key and a colon. Go ahead and underline key. This is where we will include any symbols that we use in the map and what they mean. Okay, open up your map. Now, the first thing we're going to draw is the outline of Washington State. So take your thumb and put it down on the center line so that it's touching the top of the paper. Then move it slightly to the side so that you can see the light line that you drew. Kind of where your thumb ends, you want to draw a small dot. Okay, you're going to draw a straight line from this dot all the way over, not to the edge of the paper. Leave a good amount of space, kind of about the same length of your thumb. Perfect. Now you're going to start where you left off, and you're going to draw a straight line down all the way to the halfway point. Perfect. Okay, now you're going to continue the black line down about halfway. So put your two fingers on the end if you want to, and kind of draw them towards each other. And right about halfway, that's where your straight line is going to end. Awesome. The outline of Washington State kind of does a little bit of a squiggle here because it follows the route of a river. So it's going to just do a little bit of some squiggly action here until it comes out to something of a point. Okay, now we're going to do the same type of idea where you put one thumb on the middle line here and the other thumb over here. Move them towards each other until you get about halfway. Then leave one finger there, and you're going to draw a straight line from this point to your finger. Keep one finger here and move the other finger over to the middle line. And then move it slightly down. So now the state of Washington starts to follow the route of a river again. Basically, you're going to do something of a squiggle line all the way to your finger, which is on the middle spot. Okay, nice job. Now we're going to move on over to this section of the map. Okay, so once again, take your finger about halfway. And this time the squiggle line is going to continue. It's going to go a little bit down. And then a little bit up. And then back down again. Okay, now take your fingers and kind of put them halfway down this box and move it in. What Washington State does is it goes up and over. It's still kind of a squiggly line though, so kind of up and over. Nice job! For the next part, go up to your top section and find about halfway and keep your finger there towards the edge. You're going to draw a mostly straight line from here up to your finger, and so it's going to curve a little bit out. Good! Now take your finger from where it is and put your other finger on the halfway line and move them in towards each other until they're about halfway, and then move it slightly down. Washington is going to come in something like this. Okay, then take your finger up to where it's kind of level with this. Continue this straight line until it goes to your finger. Okay, awesome. Now we just need to connect the dots, but it's not a straight line. What we have here is part of the ocean that comes in. So you're actually going to do a loop down to this halfway line, make it nice and wide, and then go back up and meet your top line. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you have a pretty good outline of Washington State. The next step is to outline the borders of Washington State, or the boundaries. So in order for us to do that, let's make our compass rose on the bottom right corner. For the compass rose, do a plus. The top direction is north. And can you remember the other ones? Never eat soggy waffles. North, east, south, west. N-E-S-W. What's north of Washington State is Canada. And Canada kind of does this wiggly thing going up. And then in this corner, a straight line going off to the east. And let's label this Canada. With all capital letters. Once you've done that, you can take your pencil and erase that faint line that you had above Washington. Okay, over on the left side, part of Canada actually comes in. It's an island called Vancouver Island. And so it comes in kind of right here, and it goes out like this. And like I said, that's part of Canada. Okay, let's move over to the east. On the eastern side, we have a river here that's called the Snake River. And we're going to continue the route of the Snake River. It goes kind of down and then a little bit out. And to the east of Washington State is a state called Idaho. So let's write Idaho in capital letters. And again, you can erase the faint line that you had. Now let's look south. South of Washington there's a state that comes in like this, and then eventually it just kind of joins. And this is the state of Oregon. Let's write that in all capital letters. And then you can erase the faint line that you had there. And so what is west of Washington State? Well, west of Washington State is an ocean, specifically the Pacific Ocean. So we'll write Pacific Ocean in all capital letters. And you can erase that faint line that you had drawn to the west of Washington State. Looking good. Okay, and something we want to do is there is water that comes in here, but this space is actually really crowded with a bunch of islands. Let me show you. You see all these islands? So we're going to try to draw some islands in that area. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nice job drawing your islands. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our outline of Washington State. Great job, cartographers! Now your task is to submit a video that shows your map outline to your teacher. Please explain to your teacher the different components of your map, like the title, the key, and the boundaries: Canada, Idaho, Oregon, and the Pacific Ocean. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this map is a project that you're going to be working on for about a month. So here's how to safely store your map. Take your homework folder or any other folder you might have. Put this inside the folder, tucked into a pocket like this. Then you can close the folder and store it safely in your school box or in your designated location where you keep your school supplies. Way to go!